Oh, and I'm going to do one more thing. I'm going to change my camera. Okay, excellent. Let's get started in a comfortable seated position. Using props to elevate the pelvis if that helps you to sit a little more easier. You can rest your palms on the knees. Palms can face down or they can face upward. You might notice an outward orientation when the palms face upward. And then closing the eyes when you're ready and bringing your awareness inward. And beginning to feel the inhale and exhale of your breath. That part of our being that we sometimes forget. The life force that drives our life and our breath. And as you breathe, feel a settling into the base of your body. Sit bones, the legs and feet. The foundation of your sitting. Making any adjustments, especially if you're able to release tension. And bringing awareness to the back of your body, elongating the spine. You'll find those two muscles that run parallel to the spine. Feeling upright. And at the same time, finding a softness in the shoulders. A softness in the heart space. A softness in the shoulders and in the facial muscles. And taking a moment just to think about the person or the people in your life who you are grateful for, who walked alongside you in 2022. And the people, person, pet companions who will accompany you into the new year. It's taking a moment to keep them in our heart. And then as you're ready, gently opening the eyes. And we'll begin with that simple movement of the neck. Head coming down as you exhale the breath. And looking upward towards the sky as you breathe in. Feeling the back of the neck and the throat. Moving with whatever range is possible for you. Good morning, Miranda. It's nice to have you. We just are getting started, so you came at the right time. We're starting with neck stretches, moving the head up and down. And coming back into center. We're going to change now and move from side to side. Even if it's a small movement, you're going to move at your own pace and explore. The contraction of muscles that make it possible for you to twist the neck. Neck muscles, throat. And all the other areas that you may feel this movement. And then when you're ready, coming back into center, and we'll begin a circular movement. It might be a half circle, or it might be a full circle. You can choose what feels safe for your neck and head. And you can move at a pace that feels appropriate. Feeling all the different neck muscles, side of the neck, back of the neck, front of the throat. And if you're doing a full circle, then making sure that you do both directions. And eventually finding your way back into center and into neutral. And then tipping your head over towards the left ear. And if you'd like a deeper stretch, reaching your right fingertips away. And giving time for the body to adjust to this position. We're encouraging length through the side of the neck. Notice where else you may feel this. We're going to roll the head forward and down to the center of the chest, coming back into neutral, and tipping the head over to the other side. And if you like, moving the left fingertips away. And a slow and relaxed breathing to facilitate this lengthening of the side neck muscles. And then allowing the head to roll down through center and come up into neutral. Interlocking your hands, palms can face towards you. A little bit harder is palms facing away. And you're going to make a circular movement 5 times in both directions. Move at your own pace and notice what you feel in the upper back. This encourages loosening of the upper back and neck muscles. And reversing the direction once you've completed 5 rounds. I really encourage you to go at your own pace. So if I finish earlier than you or you finish earlier than me, it's just an opportunity to pause if you finish earlier and take your time if you're not yet done. We'll all meet up at some point. So next we're going to bring our right fingertips on the collarbone and do elbow circling, where the elbow circles up, back, and down. And we want to combine this with our breathing. Inhale up and exhale down. And notice what you feel through the chest area, under the armpit, in the upper back, and around the shoulder blade. And any of the inner noises that you hear. And then we'll switch directions. I think of these movements like affirmations for the body, affirming my body is able of moving in these ways. And then let's switch sides. Left elbow circling. Sometimes I like to imagine that there's ink on my elbow and I'm drawing a circle. And noticing if the circle is lopsided at all, bumpy at all. And this noticing without judgment or criticism, just awareness. Then you can reverse the direction of the movement. And then when you're ready, just take a moment to pause, let the shoulders, hands, arms relax. And let's just shrug the shoulders up and down. A few times you can breathe in as you shrug or squeeze the shoulders upward. Release the breath as you draw the shoulder blades and shoulders relax down. One more time. Good. We're going to do one more for the shoulders and shoulder area. So reach your arms out in front, left arm underneath. You're going to cross at your elbows. The hands might not touch, or they might touch. Back of the hands might touch, front of the hands might touch. See how your body responds to this shape, eagle arms. Shoulders relax away from the ears. And then we settle into that slow, deep breathing. And I notice a movement of my arms and elbows as I breathe. Very slight, subtle movement. And then release. Take a moment just to feel and to breathe. We'll come to the other side, right arm underneath, finding your version of eagle arms. Shoulders away from the ears. Becoming aware of breath. And we are always in every position and movement trying to find the right balance between effort and ease. Engagement of the muscle tissue and softness, relaxation. And then release. So now let's energize our arms and hands. We're going to shake them out. Think of shaking off any stagnant energy. Anything you want to let go of, you can visualize shaking out of your system. If you get tired, you can rest. You can even shake your arms above your head. And get your elbows a little bit into the movement. And then just pause, let the arms and hands relax and feel a circulation and warmth in the body. So now we're going to get some movement into the legs, hip joint, feet, ankles. We're going to start with butterfly pose, feet together, and a gentle up and down movement of the knees. Butterfly pose can really help if you have a sitting meditation practice. It can really help to make sitting much easier. Here, as you're doing butterfly, you're tuning into what you feel around in the hip joint. And now a second movement for the hips. You can come onto your bottom so you're not sitting on any prop, feet wide apart. I'm leaning back into my hands. And now I'm going to move the knees from one side to the other side. The knees can touch the ground or they can just move from one side to the other. And you're again feeling into the hip joint. So now let's extend our legs along the floor. You can sit tall or lean back into the hands. And let's wake up the legs. Press your legs into the floor, wake them up. We want to encourage circulation back into the calf muscles, hamstrings. And now we're going to work with toes, feet, and ankles, making a fist with the toes, scrunching the toes, and then spreading them apart. Scrunching the toes, spreading them apart. Just a few times. We want to work with all the joints of the body, small and large joints. And now pointing and flexing the feet. Toes point away, and then they point towards you. I notice how when I flex my foot, it engages the hamstring muscles. Just notice what you feel in your body. And now we'll come into a circling movement to warm up the ankle joint, circling the feet. And in both directions. And then we'll bend the right knee. You can place the foot against the thigh, or maybe you have a little more flexibility. It can come on top of the thigh or on top of the calf muscle, as long as you're avoiding the kneecap. And the knee is moving up and down. We're isolating movement in the right hip joint. A lot of the movements we'll do for the joints are range of motion. And a lot of the movements we'll do for the muscles are contraction and relaxation. And these two ways of working with the body can bring health to the tissue, regardless of flexibility. So now let's switch sides, extending your right leg, bending your left knee, left foot against the thigh or on top of the thigh, knee moving up and down as you feel into the left hip joint. You'll notice that I do a lot of hip and shoulder movements in my classes. These joints really become so important as we get older. And the normal activities that we do don't necessarily include external rotation. So it's helpful to really do these movements on a regular basis. Good. So now we're going to stretch the toes, stretch the feet. So come to kneeling with the toes tucked, even that small toe. You might need to manually tuck it under. If it's too deep of a stretch, bring your weight into your fingers or hands. Some of you might be able to sink back towards your heels. I find this can be a little intense some days and easy other days. Take a few breaths. And then let's release the toes and tap them just to encourage circulation back into the tops of the feet. So now we'll come in onto the hands and knees, extending the spine as we take a deep breath in, and then rounding the spine as we exhale a breath. Then just move at your own pace. So we're stretching the front and the back of the body. One more time. And then let's sink back into child's pose. Chest towards the thighs, head towards the ground. And take a few moments to give the body time to really settle. So now coming back onto the hands and knees, we're going to do another hip movement here. This will get deep into the hip muscles. So you're going to lift your right knee and ankle out to the side. Then lower it down and switch to the other side. It doesn't matter how high you lift, work with whatever range is possible. We want to activate the muscles deep within the hip joint. Sometimes if we don't do these kinds of movements, then these muscles forget to do their work. One more time on both sides. And then we're going to sink back to the heels, rest in child's pose for about half a minute, or that's about 5 breaths. Next, we're going to slowly roll up into sitting. And we're going to come up into a standing forward fold. So you can push off of your fingertips, lift your knees, coming onto your feet, allowing the upper body to relax forward over the legs. And we'll spend a few moments here allowing for blood flow towards the brain and the upper organs. Your feet and toes are active. That means that the muscles in your feet and toes, the arches of your feet are engaged. And now press the feet into the floor, draw the abdomen in, and let's roll up into standing. And we're going to do a few of these movements, rolling down and rolling up. They're such simple movements. They can be done in the middle of your workday. If you work at a computer and you need a little bit of a change from sitting, you can stand up and roll down and roll back up. So let's start with the head dropping down, shoulders curling forward as the upper back rounds. And continue that rounding. You're rounding and feeling the spinal column. And then at a certain point, your body really hinges forward. And again, find your breath in this forward fold. Take a few slow, deep breaths. And then we're going to press the feet into the floor, draw the abdomen towards the low back, slowly roll up, paying attention to the back of the body and the spine. Until you come all the way up into standing. We'll do it one more time, rolling down, rolling up. Such a simple movement, so good for the spine. You can think of it like a massage. You are massaging the spinal column, the back muscles, and you are allowing for blood to flow towards the brain and the upper organs. It's a beautiful way to invert the body. Just a few more breaths here. And then press into the feet. Draw the abdomen, the belly towards the low back. And slowly roll up. Good. We're going to do a full body stretch. Today's class, we're doing a lot of simple movements. Full body stretch, reaching upward, coming up onto the toes, stretching the arms upward, and then lowering down slowly as you exhale the breath. Try this a couple of times. You can go at your own pace. This is a movement you could do while you're making coffee in the morning, while you're waiting for the water to boil, perhaps. You do a full body stretch. And one more time. Stretching the whole body, arms, hands, fingers, legs, toes, and then coming back. So we are going to do a movement again for the shoulder and the arms. We're going to start with the right arm reaching up, and then the right arm is going to circle forward and all the way around. So you're just making a circle with the right arm, and you're feeling into the shoulder joint. Nice and slow. And then let's reverse the direction. So we're circling backwards. So now we'll come to the other side. We'll do the same thing with the left arm, first circling forwards. If you swim, you'll probably be very familiar with a movement like this. And then the opposite direction, so we're circling the arm back. Good. So now comes the hard part. This is as much for the shoulders and arms as it is for the brain in how it integrates communication between both hemispheres of the brain. This happens naturally when we're doing different things with different sides of the body, which we often do in yoga poses and movements. Right arm forward, left arm circling backward. If you're not sure if you got it right, try again. Right arm forward, left arm circling backwards. Right arm forward, left arm circling backwards. And then the hard part is we switch left arm forward, right arm circling backwards. And again, it might take you a few times to figure out how to have the left arm forward and the right arm circling backwards. And if you don't get it today, that's okay. Because it's a practice and we practice. And then release. And just shrug your shoulders up and down. And again, up and down. We'll come into a side stretch next, interlocking the hands, palms facing up to the sky, extending the arms. And now we're going to bend to the left side, stretching the right side. And I encourage you sometimes with these poses to go 70% rather than the full range that's possible, coming back to center and releasing your arms. Sometimes when we do things without going 100%, there's a little more ease. So reaching the arms upward, palms facing to the sky, leaning towards the right side, we're stretching the left side of the body. And we're stretching the intestines. Coming back to center. We're going to do it again and stay a little bit longer. So stretching upward and to the left side. We don't think of how important it is to stretch the intestines, but it helps. And back to center and to the other side. Sometimes bits of food can get stuck in the little pockets and creases in the intestines. And by stretching them, we can help to release undigested food. And coming back down. Good. We're going to come down onto our backs, onto our fronts now, I should say. So come to the back of your mat and then just bend the knees and gently lower yourself onto the front. We're going to work with strengthening the back of the body. So elbows wide, chin on top of both palms or your forehead down. Take a few moments just to feel your body relax into the support of the earth. And to breathe into the back of the body. We're going to start with Sphinx pose. The elbows underneath of the shoulders, forearms and palms down. If it's too deep of a back bend, you can walk your elbows forward. Noticing how your body is responding to this shape. And again, we're always working with trying to create the right amount of stress for the body. Not so much that it resists the position. We want the good amount of stress that challenges us and strengthens us rather than wears us down. And now release your head and chest down. Next is alternate arm and leg lift. So reaching both arms in front. We're going to lift the right arm and left leg, head and chest, and feel that we're lengthening across the back and through the limbs. And then lowering down. You can move at your own pace and with your breath, where you lift on the inhale and you lower on the exhale. When you've done an equal number on both sides, if you feel inspired to try both arms and both legs, you can. Releasing the whole body down. We'll do 2 more back strengthening movements and positions. Bring your arms behind you, interlock your hands. Feet can be together or apart. We're going to lift the arms away from us, chest and head lift. Press your shoulder blades together. And you can either do this with your breath, lifting on the in-breath, lowering on the out-breath, or you can hold the position. And then release. And then the last one we're going to do here for back strengthening is Cobra. Hands underneath of the shoulders. Press your pelvis into the floor as you lift the chest and head. And lower down. You can do this with your breath, or you can hold Cobra. And do Cobra as a pose. And then release down. So next we're going to roll onto our backs. And we're going to do some work for the abdomen. So we're going to start with deep core muscles, knees bent, feet on the floor. Take a moment just to feel the back of your body and the spine relax. And when you're ready, press your feet into the floor, lift your pelvis upward to the sky. Lower down on the exhale of breath, and just continue this lifting and lowering. And the next time you lift, you can hold this position. Here we're strengthening the deep muscles that lie between the pubic bone and the belly button. And you'll probably notice that we're also strengthening the backs of the legs and the buttocks. Lots going on. And then let's gently lower down. And then hugging the knees. You can gently roll on your back, or you can just stay stationary and hug the knees closer towards you. There's lots of options I'm offering because each of us has a different body, and it's part of the process to really connect with what your body is able to do, what feels nourishing for your body. And then let's release the feet to the floor. And next, knees to the chest and legs extend upward. And we'll engage the muscles of the abdomen by pressing the belly button towards the spine. And then as you're ready, making a bicycling movement, as if we're riding a bicycle. You can make the movement as wide as it feels comfortable to do so. And you're breathing throughout the movement. The muscles of the abdomen here are working to carry the weight of the legs and to make the movement possible. And then let's try the opposite direction. And then you can gently allow each foot to come to the floor. Allow the belly and abdomen to relax. Next, abdominal leg lifts, hands underneath of you, knees to the chest, legs extend upward, and we lower the legs as far as it's possible. Some of you will be able to lower all the way down. You can continue to bend the knees, lift and lower, or you can lower and lift with the legs extended. We want to move slowly so that the abdomen is doing the work and not the legs. A few more times, abdominal leg lifts. And then you can release your legs to the floor. Take a moment to release the hands and relax the whole body. We're going to continue with work for the abdomen, but we're going to come up into sitting next. So let's roll front and back along the length of the spine, knees to the chest. You can hang on behind the knees and give yourself a little kick forward. And then once you come up, draw the abdomen in to round the spine as you roll back. You'll roll front and back along the spine a few times. And next time you come up, we'll stay here in this position and continue with some work for the core and abdomen. So we'll come into boat pose. We'll start with a really easy variation, hands underneath the knees, sitting nice and tall with the spine, leaning back just so that the feet come off the floor. Noticing what you're feeling that makes this position possible. And then let your feet come down. Take a moment to allow the knees to release outward and to relax the abdomen. And we'll do this one more time, but you might want to try something a little bit more challenging, where the heels come to the height of the knees. You can keep holding on to the backs of the knees or release your hands. You are breathing throughout this position. And then you can release your feet to the floor. Knees relax outward, relax your abdomen. So let's grab our prop again to do some seated poses. So you'll sit on a comfortable bolster, and let's extend our right leg out to the side. Turn to orient your torso over the right leg. This might be enough of a stretch, or you might want to hinge forward or lean forward. I like to engage my right thigh by pressing my leg towards the ground. You might try and see if that works for you. I like to think of leaning forward so that it's really coming from the hip crease, and the leaning forward is not coming from rounding the spine. Slow and deep breath. Again, giving time for the body to adjust to this shape. And then slowly coming back into our starting position and switching sides. Extending our left leg, orienting our torso over that left leg, sitting nice and tall with the spine and leaning forward. And if you like, you can engage your left thigh, as if you're pressing your left leg against the floor. Softening in your shoulders and your jaw. Softening in the face. And then slowly coming back up. And now we'll extend both legs in the shape of a V. If you'd like, you can again use your prop. And you can also have some support in front of you if that's helpful. It might be enough to sit tall. Some of you might feel like you want to lean forward. You can come onto your elbows or forearms. I just lean into the palms a little bit. And then try to use my breath to encourage my body to soften. And feeling into the inner thighs. What area of the low back. And then slowly coming back up. And now we'll come onto our backs for a few more poses. If you'd like to grab some extra layers of clothing, maybe a pair of socks or a sweatshirt, we'll do a few more things. So come to lying down on your back. And once you're there, draw the knees in, and you can either hug them close or roll on your back from one side to the other. One thing that we haven't done yet is a squat, and I like to include squatting in all of my classes. So we'll do an inverted squat or an upside down squat. So come back to center. Knees apart, feet come up to the ceiling. You can hang on behind the knees, or you might reach towards the inside or outside of your feet in this inverted squat. And then let's release the feet to the floor, and we'll end with a twist. So left leg extends, hold your right knee with your left hand and draw it over and across the body. If you would like to have a pillow underneath of your knee, you can, or one knee twist. Twisting is so good for the organ tissue, the detox organs, the digestive organs. And then as you're ready, let's come back into center. If you like, you can always stay longer. That's always an option to come up earlier or stay longer. You can hug your knees and roll from one side to the other. And then we'll find our way to the other side. So extending your right leg, holding onto your left knee, drawing it over and across to the right side. One knee twist. And as you're ready, unwinding, we'll move into our final pose, relaxation. Lying down comfortably in whatever position you like, whether it's legs extended with bolsters or pillows. Knees can be bent also. So closing the eyes and feeling your breath. And feeling the earth beneath you. Sky above you. And breath flowing through the body like a gentle wave. Whole body breathing. Now slowly deepen your breathing and awakening to the sounds that you hear around you. Waking up your fingers and toes. Beginning to move and stretch your limbs and spine. Stretching the whole body. And then release. And then let's roll onto our sides and come up into sitting position where we started. Closing the eyes. Some of us have been on a retreat and we've been doing some journaling questions, one of which was, what is the overarching theme for 2023? You can take a moment to just pause and reflect on what's really important to you for this year that we're stepping into. And then bringing your palms together at the heart space and gently opening the eyes. It's been so wonderful to practice with you. Some of you we practiced last night together, and to practice with you this morning. It's really the perfect way for me to transition from one year to the next, and I'm so grateful for your presence. You are welcome to turn on your microphones, and if you'd like to say anything to the group or anything, you can.